Next, I will show you how to estimate using 3-point estimation. In 3-point estimation, 3 values are produced initially for every task based on prior experience or best guesses. Actually, for that, 3 variables like best case, most and worst. For best case, I have assigned A. Next, for most case, M. For worst case, B. Actually, our total estimated effort per person is 50 hours. That is the most case. So the most case is 50 man hours. So M equal to 50 man hours. So best case means based on our previous experience, we can say if we have any talented resource, we can complete as earlier than the 50 man hours. So I have mentioned like 40 man hours. I reduced 10 hours. Next, in the worst case means if we have poor team or any break, any unfortunate, we will increase our time length. So we can say for the worst case 60 man hours, 10 hours has been elapsed time. Here the E is the 3-point method formula. That is 3-point estimation is E is equal to A plus 4M plus B by 6. E equal to then 40 plus 4 into M. M is equal to 50 hours plus 60. 60 is this B, worst case. So divided by 6. 4 into 50, 200. 200 plus 40, 240 plus 60 is 300. 300 by 6 is equal to 50 hours. 50 hours per man to accomplish the create specification task. Now I am going to calculate probability using standard deviation, B minus A by 6 formula. Here 60 is the worst case hours, minus 40 is the best case hours. So 60 minus 40, 20 by 6, 3.3. This 3.3 can be the added hours or deducted hours into the total hours, 50. Okay, next validate the estimation. Once you create an aggregate estimate for all the tasks mentioned in the WBS work breakdown structure, you need to forward it to the management board who will review and approve it. Next, risk and mitigations. In the risk and mitigations, I have mentioned the risk along with the mitigations. Team, if you take the risk, like a team member lack the required skills for website testing. For that, what we have to do, plan training course to skill up your members. Next, if you say the risk, the project schedule is too tight, it's hard to complete this project on time. For that, set test priority for each of the test activity. Next, test manager has poor management skill. Plan leadership training for manager. Next, a lack of cooperation negatively affects your employees' productivity. Encourage each team member in his task and inspire them to greater efforts. That is a mitigation. Next, wrong budget estimate and cost overruns. Establish the scope before beginning work. Pay a lot of attention to project planning and constantly track and measure the progress. The topic is test groups identification. From the list of requirements, we can identify the related areas whose whose functionality is similar. Test priorities. Next topic is test priorities. Among test cases, we need to establish priorities. Test deliverables. Test deliverables are provided before testing phase. Test plan document, test cases document has to be delivered before the testing phase. Next, during the testing phase, test scripts, simulators, test data, test traceability matrix, error logs and execution logs has to be delivered. Next, test deliverables are provided after the testing cycle is over. Test results or reports, defect report, installation test procedure guidelines, release notes. Next, entry, exit and suspension criteria. Entry criteria. Baseline RTM, that means requirement traceability matrix, test plan, test case, test data and test environment should be ready. Next, suspension criteria. Specify the critical suspension criteria for test. If the suspension criteria are met during testing, the active test cycle will be suspended until the criteria are resolved. For example, if your team members report that there are 40% of test cases failed, you should suspend testing until the development team fixes all the failed cases. Next, exit criteria. It specifies the criteria that denote a successful completion of the test phase. The exit criteria are the targeted result of the test and are necessary before proceeding to the next phase of development. Example, 95% of all critical test cases must pass. Then only we have to exit the test. Next, test design specifications. A test case is a set of actions executed to verify a particular feature or functionality of your software application. Format of standard test cases.